My name is Gene Fisher, Fischer. I'm the Sheriff of Greene with an E on the end county, and we're here to talk about Saturday afternoon, about 5:30. We received a phone call from a resident on Waynesville Jamestown Road who was out mushroom hunting and found what appeared to be bones in the field. The officers went down, detectives were called out. We recovered several bones and a skull that evening, and went back out to the scene today with BCI. The bones that were recovered were taken to the Montgomery County Crime Lab, and those bones were identified this afternoon as that of Cheryl Coker, this thing out of Riverside. With me is the Greene County Coroner, Kevin Sherritt, the Police Chief of Riverside, Frank Colon, and Major Frank Robinson, and Major Adam Colon, the Criminal Investigation Commander of Riverside Police Department. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Kevin Sherritt, the Greene County Coroner.
Thank you, Gene. As the sheriff spoke, Saturday evening there were bones found on adjacent to Waynesville Jamestown Road, Cedar Creek Township. Our office was notified at approximately 8 p.m. and responded to the scene. Those bones were retrieved and the scene was secured and investigated. Forensic autopsy was started on Sunday morning by Dr. Ken Harshbarger at the Montgomery County Coroner's Office, and based on evidence collected at the scene as well as the preliminary autopsy findings, we were able to conclusively make the identification of the deceased as being Cheryl Coker, birth date April 24, 1972. So the forensic autopsy is still ongoing, investigation is still ongoing. Family has been notified by the Riverside Police Department, and we are continuing to work this case at this time. So with that, I will turn the podium over to Chief Robinson of the Riverside Police Department.
Well, I prepared a little bit of a statement, but I think the sheriff and the coroner got a little bit of that. What I first want to say is my condolences to the family of Cheryl Coker, especially to her mother, Mary, to her two daughters, Marissa and Michaela. It's been a long time coming. They've been waiting, and it's been a very difficult time for them. Hopefully get some closure with this today. I just want to say that the family has been very cooperative with us throughout this whole investigation, very supportive of the Riverside PD, and we're very thankful for that. We've tried to support them as much as possible throughout this whole ordeal. Anytime they need anything, we're there to respond to that. We have a very good rapport with them, and we just want to thank them for that. Today really is just about giving time for them to grieve and to come to grips with their feelings for the second time. I mean, obviously, when this happened, obviously they had their feelings, and now it's come back out. So I know it's a really difficult day for them. However, I will say this: we have never given up on this case. We've never wavered from continuing to follow all of the evidence that we've collected and all the evidence anyone else has collected for us, which I want to say thank you to all the organizations, the ones who've went out and searched, and the other agencies that have gone out and picked up evidence. And of course, we can't thank enough Greene County for the efforts they've done this week and over the weekend. I just want to say a couple different things. That Cheryl went missing, if you remember, October the 2nd of 2018, and it's been a long process to get to go through this investigation for our folks and everyone else, and we're very glad that we've come to the day. You want to celebrate, but you really can't. It's a very somber moment today. One last thing I want to tell you is Cheryl's never been forgotten by the community. We've had a lot of candlelight vigils and things like that to keep her name out there. And I just want to say that Cheryl's birthday was this past Friday. She would have been 48 years old. Thank you. At this time, we'll take questions if anybody has any questions.
Chief, obviously, over the course of this investigation, William Coker has been named a suspect in this investigation.
Obviously, I'm not going to really get into any detail about the investigation at this point. Obviously, we've said what we've said in the past. Nothing's changed there. Someone asked me if you can really say that, and I say to them, I think anybody is a suspect in this thing. But William Coker, obviously, and her husband.
Is this an area that had been searched previously, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Sure. Sir, can you describe or give us a brief description of the area that the body was found? Out of be it the trail, roadway, or
It's the area where the body was found is a wooded area, and it's those areas are quite popular for people looking for mushrooms this time of the year, and it's had to be somebody specifically looking for the mushrooms or something else and ran across these bones.
it would be a common area where people would go hiking?
It is not. It's private property. It's just not a common area for somebody to go to.
Any words of thanks for the person that obviously found it and did the right thing by calling the
Absolutely, we appreciate the anytime citizens get involved in helping solve a crime. That's we applaud them all the time.
Can you give us again a brief description of the area? You said obviously
It's farm. It's a farm area. You get down in southern Ohio or southern Greene County, and it's predominantly farm area. Caesar Creek Township there's a lot of open fields, but this happened to be some woods and some overgrowth in the area.
Sheriff spoke to us a little bit, and we may be wading into some area that you can't discuss here, but how she was identified? I know she had some, according to the 911 caller, had some clothing, maybe some belongings. Was that a big part of
But
identifying?
we did use some clothing, and it's been taken as evidence, so that'll be all turned over to it has been turned over to the crime lab. Doc, I don't know if you want to deal with how they identify a skeletal remains.
Well, when you have skeletal remains, the first thing you do is try to assess the skeleton as to sex and race, even based on the skeletal attributes. So we were able to determine that this was a Caucasian female based on the skeletal remains. There was some evidence collected at the scene that gave us a presumptive identification. That put us on the path of doing further investigation, and using dental records and surgical records, we were able to confirm the exact identification as being Cheryl Coker.
Were you able to determine at this point, like how long she had been deceased?
What I can say at this point, the investigation's ongoing, and to be able to give you an exact time right now, it's certainly premature. I can tell you that the remains were completely skeletonized, which would be consistent with the time that she was reported to be missing.
And because of that, I would assume if there had been any signs of trauma or anything like that, that wouldn't be visible at this point, or would you speak to that?
Yeah, we're not far enough along yet to make any kind of comments along those lines.
Could it appear that the body was possibly buried at some point in time and became unburied, or
There was no evidence at the scene or at the autopsy in our investigation so far that the body was ever buried.
Chief, I know you spoke to some of the family being notified this afternoon. This is something they've been waiting for about a year and a half now.
Certainly.
What was their general reaction?
I can't really say anything to that. I wasn't there when they were told, so I don't really sure.
What does this mean to your detectives? I mean, this has been, I know a lot of them, this has been how they've spent a lot of their time over the last year and a half.
I can tell you this: that Detective Abney has worked this and lived it for a year and a half. So it takes its toll, and you can tell I can tell it's taking its toll on him. So.
Who handles the investigation going forward from here? Is this a Greene County investigation, or is this a Riverside police investigation?
I think it's going to be kind of joint at this point.
Where does it go from here?
Obviously, just to continue the investigation to get all the evidence that we possibly can gather, and then go from there.
Chief, with that being said, if in the event that, who knows, somebody may have seen something, may not have recalled it, but may recall it now that this has been found, who should they contact if anyone knows anything else about this particular case?
I think you can contact either department, I believe, but I mean, I would say Riverside PD would be your first choice, I would think.
Sheriff, you said that the area where those skeleton remains were found was private property. Was the person who called in the 911 call the owner of the property? Was that somebody who was out there?
I'd have to double check that. I don't have the answer. I'm assuming it's a neighbor. I know the guy lived close by. I don't know if that was his property. I really don't think it was his property. So, but you know, lots of times people will park along the road and get off and go in and look for mushrooms. So, thanks, Scott.
Sheriff or chief, either one, is there any reason for Cheryl to be out there that you guys know of without a crime?
I have not checked her history. Usually that area where she was found is not an area a whole lot of people go to. So it's, you know, it's about a mile off of 68 south of Xenia. It is once again predominantly farmland down through there, and a few areas of woods and overgrowth.
One more question for you. Sure. Do you anticipate, given the state of the week, do you anticipate that you will be able to determine a cause of death, or is that not something?
When you're dealing with skeletal remains, it's difficult to say at this point. We are certainly very early. There's going to be a lot more play into our investigation in terms of toxicology and other forensic avenues for us to follow. Oftentimes, we are able to come to some conclusive diagnosis and some conclusions based on skeletal remains, but there's still a lot of information yet to be retrieved.
We do have BCIs part of this investigation also, and I don't know if they've been from earlier in the process. BCI been involved?
Yes, they have, sir. They came out to initial search when we did in the residence.
Okay.
In October.
So, you know, they were at the scene today helping do the recovery. We had a couple cadaver dogs out today, and then Riverside had detectives out with metal detectors. So it's, you know, there's a lot of work still to be done, and you know, we will cooperate with Riverside to whatever extent needs to happen.
Timeline, distance traveled from the location of where Cheryl's home is in that area, approximately.
It's about a 15-minute drive without traffic. I timed it today.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.